Oregon walking into Seattle, Washington, getting a dub in the Cascade Clash. Final score, Oregon 26, Washington 14. Now, I'm just going to be real with y'all. To me, this game felt a lot closer throughout the entirety. But still, the final score is what it is, and I think Oregon made themselves a little bit of a case for the rest of the college football world with how they won this game. We'll unpack all that right now. Before we do that, though, if you're an Oregon fan, if you're a Washington fan, if you're a college football sicko, make sure you're subscribed. College football year-round. College football is madness right now with the carousel. It's madness with the playoff and conference title weekend and signing day. We're talking about all of it, man. The greatest sport on the face of planet Earth, and we appreciate y'all allowing us to do it for a job. So, again, make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. Dante Moore is the man. That's Dante Moore's progress and what he's done over the course of this entire season, even from the Penn State game on, rather. I believe that he is the reason, if you're an Oregon fan, you believe you can play for a national title. The roster's elite, obviously, price of admission. Dan Lanning's one of the best in the business, price of admission. But to have it all go and to be able to go win 3 to 4 games in a row, 4 games in a row if you're Oregon, you got to have a quarterback. And Dante Moore doing what he did yesterday, 20 of 29, 286. He did it all. It's impressive in itself as a stat line. He did it all massively left-handed. I'm not saying he actually switched hands throwing the football, but you look at what Oregon is as an offense. They are a run the football first kind of outfit under Will Stein. They want to run it, set up some passes downfield, make your defense off balance with what they do, kind of getting the eye candy going left and right and get you running and moving and shaking and all those things. And Oregon wasn't really able to establish any of that yesterday. Averaged 2.5 yards a carry. That's a good front seven against Washington. It's top 20 in college football, but you see where I'm going with this. To not have it all set up how you want it to be set up and to still have your quarterback deliver like that. And also for Dante Moore to make some plays on the ground. I think you got to feel real good about who you have at quarterback, man, which is putting it lightly. But there's the fact that you didn't have a lot set up on the ground to make throws that Dante Moore made. In addition to that, you didn't have your best receiver. And I keep saying this, but what is this team when they get to Corey and Moore back in the lineup, dude? Because when you have to give him attention, and then Malik Benson's playing the way that he played yesterday with over 100 yards receiving, with Kenyon Sadiq being a freaking bionicle, whether you line him up out wide in the slot, in line, there's, I think, a real opportunity here for Oregon to play a lot of matchup football. To me, that whenever Washington says, we can beat you any given way that you want. The Iowa game kind of said that, but that game yesterday on the road solidifies it, for my money at least. They can win a lot of matchup games. Is it going to be Sadiq? Is it going to be Benson? Are we going to be able to run the football? If we don't have our go-to haymaker, we can still beat you with a counterpunch. And we have a quarterback now who can maximize that counterpunch and can make it all go for us. So that whole ingredient for Oregon, I think, is extremely dangerous. I think there's some part of you, if you're an Oregon fan, that feels a little bit funny coming away from that game because you look at Washington, you're like, well, Washington, not the most impressive record in the world. We probably should have beat them by more. If I'm an Oregon fan, I'm thinking that based on our talent versus their talent. Washington's actually, I think, a lot better than what their record shows. Denzel Boston, while he's coming back from the injury and wasn't 100%, still one of the best receivers in college football. Damon Williams is a psycho. The fact that you won that game is all that matters. I don't worry too much about how it looks. I'm not going to overreact to rivalry weekend. I said this in a different video when it comes to how you assess your football team. It should be one data point. It shouldn't be the impression you're left with when you think about the college football playoff. I understand there's a temptation to say, well, that was what we were last week. Is that who we are? No. It's a game that's massively charged with emotion. It's at another place that's tough to play. It's a place that at one point in time was the second longest home winning streak in college football in Washington. There's a lot of variables here where it's easy to talk yourself into, oh my gosh, should we be nervous we couldn't run the football? It's no, it's a good rush defense. That's a good quarterback in Damon Williams, who's tough to bring down. I thought Oregon met what that day required, which was, hey, we got to kick a few field goals here. Atticus Sappington, one of the best names in college football. Dante Moore, need to throw it with no run game. You found a way, man. And that's kind of been, I think, the story of this college football season across the board is teams finding a way, but Oregon continues to check that box. Their only day where they weren't on the money is against the number 2 team in college football in Indiana. And I know it was at home. That sucks. You're out of the Big Ten title game. It is what it is. But I don't think we should overreact to that game or rivalry weekend when we assess Oregon. I still think they're one of the best teams in college football and can make a real run at a national championship. And that win yesterday makes me feel that way, even more than I already did. Now, I also want to end with this. This is a team that maybe isn't queued up the same way last year's team was in Eugene in terms of like momentum and being unbeaten and playing for a Big Ten title. Maybe there's not the same spotlight on this Oregon team, but I think that lack of spotlight and the way this team isn't carrying the weight of perfection with that 0 in the loss column, I think that actually plays well in their favor. If you're Oregon and you're Dan Lanning, you're a competitor. You want to play for the biggest trophies. You want to play for a Big Ten title, obviously. But when you zoom out a little bit, did that bye help you all that much a year ago? Not really, right? Didn't help anybody last year in the college football play. Every team with a bye lost. And I'd be surprised if that same thing were true this year for every team that gets a bye. But the point I'm trying to make is if I'm Oregon, you are going to get a home college football playoff game. You get your bye early during conference title weekend. You get to stay in routine, get to have some momentum, get a home game in Autzen, which will be an advantage in and of itself. I like the way this tees up for this Oregon team a lot more. And again, I like the fact this team isn't carrying the weight of 0 losses and can they have the undefeated season and can they stay perfect. They're just playing ball. I truly think they're just in hunting mode, and I think that's exactly where Dan Lanning operates best from, is this team having a chip on their shoulder, finding a way, having the edge about themselves. I wouldn't want to play Oregon. I've said that about a few teams, but I wouldn't want to play Oregon, especially at Oregon. So, Oregon, you now get a chance to watch the Big Ten title game and get healthy and get teed up for a big run. And who's to say Oregon can't go do that here in the context of what this 2025 season has been with the way that Dante Moore is slinging it right now. All right? So, Duck fans, let me know the vibes. How are we feeling about this whole thing? Missing the Big Ten title game, hosting a playoff game. Have to imagine they're pretty good, but let me know in the comment section. For Cato on the ones and twos, for myself, JD PicKell, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.